car's outside, the shop is clean. It's not clean yet, but the car's outside, and that's a big deal. So what I have in front of me is, I picked this up. I went to a buddy of mine's place for coffee, like cars and coffee, one morning at his house. Probably going back about 3 years ago. He's actually the guy that created the logo for my YouTube. His name's Tony, and he owns a company called Magneto Design. He's also the creator and the editor of Magneto magazine. That was a popular magazine up here in the Northeast back in the day. Tony's a great guy, and I went to his house one day and he had a bunch of stuff. It was in the wintertime, pre-swap meet season, and he had a bunch of stuff laid out with prices on it. And we were all, me and a bunch of the guys that were there said, what's going on? What is this stuff? And he said, oh, it's my pre-Fitchburg swap meet. If you guys are interested in anything, let me know. I saw a few things and I bought a few things, but one of the things I bought, I was super pumped to get it, and it's just awesome. So I'm going to show you what it is. It's right here in front of me. What this is, this little dolly is a rear axle dolly. So you put an axle on it and you can wheel it around. It has holes in it for the pegs, different heights and whatnot. So I'm going to roll that axle forwards, and I'm going to get that axle put on this dolly. Then I can spin it sideways and I can roll it outside to work on it when the time comes. I think I paid 20 bucks for it. Go in there? Yes, sir. Nope. Yeah, get back there. Yeah. Get a mind of its own. Alright, that's one side. Get back. Works really good. Alright, now I can wheel this axle assembly around as needed. What's up, everybody? It's Mike with This Old Hot Rod up here in beautiful Middleborough, Mass. Here we have in the background a 1934 Ford Coupe 5-window body on a custom rolling chassis cart that I just built that you guys just saw a video of. So, I'm outside, the sun is shining, it's a beautiful day. I got my Millworks Hot Rod t-shirt on. Millworks Hot Rod's up in Tewksbury, Mass. Check them out online, bunch of good guys, family run business. So, anyways, today what we're doing. As you can see, the firewall is welded in. It's Easter Sunday, and kind of just, I really didn't have a plan today what I was going to do. I was in the garage cleaning and moving some stuff out of the garage into the big building so I could make some extra room. So I had room to get some parts, spread out so I could figure out what was what. I got the rear axle assembly right next to me at the moment on a dolly that I bought from my buddy Tony a couple years back. And basically today I got the firewall sandblasted finally. So there's definitely been some questions and comments in the past couple of months why I haven't got this firewall sanded yet. Well, the sun wasn't shining and it was kind of cold up here at the time. So it was a nice day today, Easter Sunday, like I just said. I bought like a 30-gallon pressurized tank sandblasting thing a couple years ago. And about this time, probably 2 or 3 years ago, it was my birthday. And I bought that for my birthday. And that was probably one of the worst purchases I ever made. The reason being is it just never really seemed to work all that great. But today, I kind of went through it, worked the bugs out of it. I got it to work. I got the firewall sandblasted, the front and the back side. So those are both all set. And I got it welded to the car. It's 100% welded across this seam down the tops of the wings and then down the fronts of the wings. I got all my 1/8 inch holes filled in. That's where my clecos were, and then on the inside, up underneath, there were 6 about 1/4 inch round holes that held on the insulation for the firewall. I filled those in also because I'm not going to be needing them, and that's just more air that's going to come in the car. You know, on days where it's a little cool, you don't want that cold air coming in, so I filled those in. So as of right now, there's 2 holes in the firewall that I'm going to leave. I don't know what they're for. May use them in the future for something, zip tie something, or a little like a wire loom type of thing. But so now I'm in the process. I got my flap disc. I'm going to get all these welds kind of cleaned up to a point where I think it's going to be okay to move forward with a round of filler. But I at least got to get them sanded down best I can. I'm not going to kill myself trying to get it perfect because, again, I've told you guys 100 times it's not a show car. It's going to be a nice car, but it's not a show car. So I need to get these cleaned up, and gonna just kind of keep picking away at a few things. Push the car out to the sun. Found a few more spots that need some rust removal. I do have the sandblaster now that is working. I don't think I have the correct media. I'm using like a coarse glass bead, so it leaves a real fine finish. So it's not a real aggressive blasting media, but it works great for the firewall. It just takes a little bit longer. What I might do is, once I get this welded in, get a little bit more of the floor structure welded. I just found a few things that I need to do. I think what I might do is I might grab my blaster, bring it up here, and get a couple of the spots that were a little harder to get those cleaned up. After that, it's gonna be mask time. I'm gonna get this car masked off and get this thing in some sealer. So I have a gallon of sealer that I picked up from Napa. It's black, it's epoxy. So I want to get this thing cleaned up, wiped down, and blasted with a coat of sealer. And I just said I have the, spin you guys around real quick. It's a rear axle assembly. It's 56 to 58, I believe, Chevrolet. It's on a dolly that I picked up from my buddy Tony a few years ago. This dolly is just super cool, just really useful. I wasn't planning on sandblasting this, but seeing how the sandblaster worked pretty good, maybe I will. I don't know. I was going to get the SCT, clean up all these areas with the SCT, and I may just sandblast the backing plates. I want to get it to a point where the paint's going to stick to it, but I don't want to get it to a point where it's going to slow the finishing process down and getting the car done and put back together. So that's what I'm trying to avoid. I'm trying to avoid slowing down the ultimate goal, which is to get the car put back together and run and driving on the road. Let's get back to it. Let's put my tunes back on. dong. Blue moon. Alright, got all the high stuff. Oh, no I didn't. I gotta get those. I don't know if I can. Oh, I spilled my beer. Ah! Ugh. So like I said earlier, I really hadn't planned on doing any videos. I talked to my buddy Pete. I said, yeah, I'm working in the garage. I'm not really filming though. Just kind of just bouncing around, doing some odds and end things. And then, like I said, can't really film when I'm sandblasting because I don't want to get the media near the camera. I suppose I could have filmed the process of welding the firewall in, but you guys saw what it looked like before. Now you see it now. It's essentially the same, just got some weld on it. But I figured I'd at least show you guys the process. Figured I'd break out the camera. As soon as I pushed the car outside, the sun was shining. I was just in a good mood and thought I'd break out the camera and do a little bit of filming. That's what I did. Car's back in the garage now. I'm going to get the rear axle, roll the rear axle up here. And then I'm going to bring the front axle in. I need to get the front axle broken down so I can get it to Andy Kohler. I've already spoken with Andy. He said, yeah, get it to me and I'll get it dropped and get it back to you. So I got to get that done. So when I get it back, I can sandblast that and paint that. And do the rear axle at the same time. By the time I get that back, this thing will be in sealer and paint. And it's going to kind of be the process of putting things back together. I'm going to show you guys something. Remember I had showed you on one of the videos that one of the bolts had snapped, the U-bolts on the rear axle on the driver's side. This is the passenger side 2-link. I like 95% of the stuff that was done on the car. I really do like it. This falls in the 5% that I don't really like, and the reason why, I like what they did, I like how they did it, the thought behind it, and it clearly worked. And I'm not speaking badly of anybody, it clearly worked. However, I don't know what the roads were like back in that day. Probably not that great, because they're not that great today. But when I pulled this tube out, the rear link for the rear suspension, this is the, let me try to think here. Yeah, this is the driver's side, which makes sense. This is the driver's side, the side that I found the broken U-bolt. And now, do you know why the U-bolt was broken? That is a pretty serious repair. I don't know if you can really get a look at that. Let me try to. There we go. See that repair, that damage there? That's a pretty serious situation. This thing was broken all the way through. I shined a light down inside this hole and you can see the crack from the inside the whole way around. So it must have been a pretty scary situation for whoever was driving the car at the time. This is 1/8 wall tubing. It's a little thin. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to remake these rear suspension, these rear bars. I don't know what you call them, trailing arms, maybe. Sorry if I made anybody yawn. I'm going to remake these. I don't know as if I'm going to make them out of round rod, round tube. I may just make them out of square tubing, thicker, like 1/4 wall or 3/16 wall tubing. I have from my parts supply. Oh boy, what did I do with them? I have, this is a replacement bushing for the rear suspension on my 1930 Coupe. And what that rear suspension is it is 3rd generation Corvette. So it looks like this. It has a bushing going through. It has these nylon or metal with nylon bushings or whatever you call them. I was thinking about trying to use this. It doesn't quite fit in the carrier for the 2-link on the rear axle. So what I think I may do is try to find some DOM tubing or something. If I can build it out of a square stock with round tubing, that I can then fabricate this to, or somehow use that as a mount. So I need to figure out some way or how I'm going to manufacture or fabricate some new trailing arms for the car. I'll obviously go off of the exact design because I need to. I need it to follow the same bends and whatnot as this does. I can pretty simply either cut this shock mount off or use, I think I have some. I can use what I have. I don't feel comfortable repairing this. It'll never be right. It'll never be the same as the passenger side. And I just think that's a bad idea. So if I can build it out of round rod, I will. And this kind of is a little questionable too. This is just a bolt right through it, no bushing or anything. So I want to try to create some type of a bushing or some type of a mount where, hold on, something like, this tubing will go through this, and then a bolt with maybe a grease zerk or something, some type of a bushing that I can lubricate. Because you guys saw when I pulled these out of the car, these things were like practically seized in there. And I don't know how the car rode back in the day. I mean, clearly it was new for the most part, a new build back in the day. So I'm sure it rode fine. But I'm gonna go on out on a limb and say that it probably wasn't going to ride all that great, because things just seem to be seized, and I don't want it, you know, being a real rigid ride. I want it to be a nice, comfortable riding hot rod. I want it to be a nice riding hot rod. I plan on putting on some miles on this thing, so it's gonna take my time and try to do it right. So thanks guys for watching. That was just a quick video of me cleaning up the firewall. One step closer to sealer, one step closer to paint. I'm gonna leave what's there. Like I had said earlier in the video, I have a couple small little pieces that I have to weld. It's just, I'm gonna say like 2 or 3 little things, just little small areas where I missed. It's a big difference when you roll things outside and you can see everything in the sunlight. It really just highlights the things that either you forgot to do, or you missed, or you didn't do good enough, whatever the case. So I found a couple things that I need to fix on the car, or we need to weld on the car. As soon as that's done, I'm going to start wiping things down with that acetone, and then I'm just going to get this thing in sealer because I don't want it to flash rust. So I get a busy week this week, but I'm going to get it done. That's my goal. That's my mission, and that's it. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks everybody for following along. I appreciate everybody, all the support, all the good words, all the good comments, and you know, Instagram, Facebook, and obviously here on YouTube. So thanks everybody. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye bye. A little bit longer. Wesley, sing it! Please, 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 won't you stay just a little bit longer? What? Bop, 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 boop, bop. Quack, 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 quack. All the time. Oh, won't you stay? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Bum, bop, bop, bop. Hey, hey, whoa. Keep away from run around Sue. Oh, I cut my hand again.